you've noticed it. Maybe not clearly, maybe just as a feeling that somehow you end up in the same place, different person, different story, same ending. And you've probably blamed the people or your taste or your luck. But what if it's none of those things? What if there's a pattern running underneath all of it? One you didn't even choose, don't see clearly, and have been repeating your whole life. We all have an attachment style, a blueprint in how we love built in childhood, mostly before we had words for any of it. And and it was built from one simple question. Are the people I need reliable? If the answer was yes, consistently, safely, yes, you probably learned that love is stable, that you can get close without losing yourself, that people stay. But if the answer was uncertain, sometimes yes, sometimes no, never quite predictable, you learn something different. You learned that love is something you have to work for, chase, earn, prove yourself worthy of. And you've been operating from that blueprint ever since, even when you don't realize it. Anxious, attachment, the pattern most of us have some version of isn't neediness. It's not weakness. It's not being too much. It's a nervous system that learned early on that connection is fragile, that people leave, that love has to be maintained constantly or it just disappears. So you monitor, you read between every line. You feel shifts in energy before anyone else does. You brace, not because you're dramatic, because your nervous system is trying to protect you from an abandonment learned to expect. And here's the part that changes things. The patterns. The pattern isn't a life sentence. It's a learned response, and learned responses can be unlearned, but unexamined, it it costs you everything. It costs you the relationships that could be good because the anxiety makes you push or pull back or test in ways that create the very distance you're afraid of. It it costs you your self-worth because when someone pulls away even slightly, the pattern tells you it's because of you, because you aren't enough, because you did something wrong. And it costs you presence, the ability to just be in something without waiting for it to all fall apart. So So, what would it feel like to finally be in a relationship without the constant background noise of when is this going to end? The work isn't finding the right person. It's becoming someone who can receive the right person without sabotaging it. And that starts with understanding the pattern isn't who you are, it's what you learned. You learned that love was unpredictable, so you became hyper vigilant. You learned that closeness was dangerous, so you kept people exactly at the right distance, close enough to feel connected, but far enough to protect yourself. And none of that was wrong at the time. It was just survival. But you're not in survival mode anymore. And the tools that you kept you safe then are keeping you lonely now. Changing an attachment pattern is slow work. It doesn't happen because you decide to. It happens because you notice again and again and again. You notice when the anxiety spikes. You notice when you're reading into something that isn't there. You notice when you're pushing someone away because it's getting close to feeling dangerous, to feeling too dangerous. And instead of acting from the pattern, you pause, you breathe, you ask, is this real or is this old? Most of the time, it's old. The pattern, the pattern wasn't a character flaw. It was a survival strategy, and you're allowed to outgrow it.